Hey everyone, Charting Man Dan from ChartGuys.com. You know, behind every single video that we put out every single day, there's a wonderful community of traders that we want to invite you to be a part of. Try the free 7-day trial and gain access to our live market broadcasts every morning and afternoon, interact with hundreds of like-minded traders, or take part in one of our dedicated chat rooms, each led by an analyst that's there to answer your questions in real time. Our trial is risk-free with absolutely no commitment or credit card required to experience the TCG community. For those looking for a head start in technical analysis, check out our entries and exits course in the link below in the description. Get up to speed with the fundamentals of TCG technical analysis and experience over 5 hours of great community-driven trading education. Hello everyone, checking in on the tech sector, XLK, Apple, and Facebook. So it was a big day Friday for the tech sector where we saw tons of profit taking all at once and a sector rotation where money is leaving the tech sector and it's heading into the financial sector, and we're going to be keeping an eye out for other sectors that it is going into. But it's very clear that we are seeing a turnaround right now, and the next couple of days are going to be very telling. So the low that we just saw is very important on XLK, and that's 55.22. And over the next 2 days, I'd say, if we break that level, it's going to show that the bears have momentum. Obviously, this is the most bearish day that we've seen in a very long time, and at the low of the day, we had taken back about 2.5 weeks of bullish upside in one day. So stairs up, elevator down absolutely applies here. Tons of stop losses were triggered. Tons of bearish action. You better believe the bears are awake now. The bears have been getting crushed in this sector for a very long time, but this gives them hope, this gives them momentum, and this gives them a lot of clear levels to be working with, in the sense that we are going to be looking, even if we do bounce, I would be looking to see a lower high form because of the volume behind this move. So if we see the bull show up tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday, and we make a move back up towards $57, I would absolutely be looking for a lower high to form and for another pullback back down towards this support level, which again is 55.22. So this definitely psychologically shifts the strength of the sector, and I do believe that it is going to have a more prolonged effect over the next, let's say, couple weeks, month. We'll have to see how it plays out. Again, tomorrow's going to be very important in terms of the amount of further information we get. The market has had the entire weekend to digest what's happened on Friday, and we're going to see if that weakness carries over, and I do believe that it will. Not necessarily, I'm not saying we're going to be red tomorrow. Maybe we're not. Maybe we see the bounce continue a bit, but I do believe that if we do bounce a bit, it will just form a lower high, keeping the bears with momentum on this daily time frame. So the all-time high is resistance. And in terms of other resistance levels, you really need to zoom in on shorter-term time frames. And the 5-minute time frame is going to have all kinds of lower highs of just lower high, dump, lower high, dump, lower high. And we can pick out a bunch of resistance levels from that, because otherwise we're just looking at the all-time high, which we did hit Friday. So that's a scenario where we have so much strength. And you'll see this all the time. Psychologically, it happens a lot when you're trading stocks. I see it all the time in the penny stock sector. But when you see the turnaround, so to speak, from a really strong move, it comes from the top and it comes out of nowhere. So the fact that it happened from an all-time high does not surprise me, with the rug getting pulled out is another phrase that people use to describe it. But it's just a complete 180 turnaround that catches a lot of people by surprise, and it allows the bears to really take over and smash stop losses, magnifying that move to the downside. So on the weekly time frame here for XLK, it is the most bearish week we have seen in 2017. And the question now is, do we see another week of follow-through to the downside? The exponential moving average supports are still holding. We had that Trump dump a couple weeks ago. We bounced off the 8 period. We bounced off of it again this week. So we need to update this coming week and see if we can continue to hold this level. Because if not, we're going to be on the verge of a bearish MACD cross and the verge of a bearish TCG cross of these exponential moving averages. So the volume is there for the bears, a little bit of bulls buying the dip. And again, tomorrow and momentum is going to be very telling. If we do see the bulls show up again tomorrow, I'm going to be patiently scouting a bearish entry for when those bulls tire from their bounce. And if we see the bears show up, we know we're looking down at the low that we hit as a very important support level. So checking some individual names, Apple, huge pullback. Apple has been a laggard in the space, and I believe in a recent video I said that if I were going to play a tech name bearish, it would be Apple, because it's not seeing moves like Google, Amazon, Netflix, all those other names that have been thriving. Apple's been a little bit stagnant and trading sideways. We came close to an all-time high. The bulls started to show up, but there were a couple red flags in the sense that we got our downgrade completely erasing bull momentum. We saw profit taking from bull momentum, and now we're seeing the move to the downside, huge bear volume. And what we have now is a lower high and a lower low. So that has shifted the trend in the short term, and key support is 146.02. Same exact thing I just said with the sector. If we see a short-term bounce, We'll scout weakness for a bearish entry on a lower high. And if we see continuation to the downside, it's all about 146.02 support. So again, weekly time frame, first close under exponential moving average support in the past 7 months. All of 2017, this has not happened. So we're going to start looking out now on these weekly time frames for phrases where we can say, first time in 2017 this has happened, because we've been so strong since the election that this is what we're going to start keeping note on. And we had a bearish MACD cross about to follow through. We'll see if we get that next week. And a bearish TCG cross we'll be watching there as well. So the next support after the low of this dump, 146.02, we're looking down at 139.48. So if we were to lose that level, it would be a longer-term break of the higher low pattern, but the weekly middle Bollinger Band support is going to come first, and we'll have to see if that level can hold. Facebook, same thing, all-time high, complete turnaround and dump. That being said, we still have our higher low here from the last dump, and that was from earnings. So we've got our support of 144.42, and if we break that level, it is a significant turnaround for the bears. But if not, the bulls still maintain a long-term uptrend. So same story, if we bounce, we look for a lower high to form. If we see a move to the downside, we look at 146.61 support. Then I'm looking at 146.61, 144.42 is that level. Weekly time frame, holding the exponential support. So that's the difference between Apple and Facebook that stands out. We're still holding the 8-period exponential support all of 2017. The dip 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that held the support, and we're holding it again. If we lose it this coming week, we're on the verge of a bearish MACD cross, we're on the verge of a bearish TCG cross, and it's all about that next level of 144.42. So I appreciate you watching. We'll certainly have a lot more information tomorrow as to what has been digested over the weekend in terms of whether the bears are going to really strike here and go for the jugular, so to speak. So we'll keep checking back in. We'll see you tomorrow, and I hope you have a great Sunday.